Hi, this is Megan Jacks, Creative Memories Independent Advisor, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make a ring using the Creative Memories flag banner punch. This is a fairly new punch. It's a lot of fun, and it does make this wonderful ring. It is a little bit of a different technique than we've used before with some of the other punches. We're going to be punching from the inside of a circle rather than from the outside. So I'm going to show you how to do that. We're going to start off with a piece of 12 by 12 cardstock, and I'm going to be using a piece of blue cardstock, and I'm going to go ahead and line it up here on my 13 by 13 mat, and I'm going to be using my jumbo circle, and I am going to center this on my paper as best I can. I have my all my points marked here, so my it would be like 0, 90, 180 and so forth around, and I'm using those to center on my mat. If that's not familiar with you, I do have some videos that you could watch that will help you learn how to do that. You can check out my channel for those videos. And we're going to use the green blade on the inside track. So that's where this gets to be a little bit different. We are using the green blade on the inside track. And I'm going to go ahead and line this up and make that cut all the way around. So I've got that cut. I'm gonna go and lift this out, and I can set this aside for another project. And then what I wanna do here is I am gonna wanna mark every 30 degrees. So I'm gonna leave my paper on my mat. I'm going to go ahead and remove my jumbo circle because I'm going to use the lines of my mat to mark those 30 degrees. I'm going to use a Sharpie so that you can see my lines. Since I'm using a little bit of a darker cardstock, I'm going to go ahead and use that Sharpie. 30 degrees coincides with numbers of a clock. So if we think about the top being noon, I'm going to come around to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. So I've got 12 spaces marked on my clock or my circle here. And now that the next thing we're going to do here is we're going to start punching. The reason that we have to use the inside of the circle is the nature of how this punch was designed. If we were to come in from the outside, you can see it ever so flares slightly away. So it's just to have a different look. But by going on the inside, we're going to have those banners be on the outside edge of the circle. So that's going to work out great. So now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to flip my punch over so I can see it. And the first punch I'm going to make, I'm going to line up that black mark, and it's going to be a little hard to see. You have to envision that my black line, my Sharpie line, is running right in the middle of this star. And really what I want you to see is I want you to see how this blue paper is ever so slightly sticking out above the curve here. So there is some of that blue cardstock sticking out, and I want to make sure it's fairly even, especially for this first punch I'm going to do. I'm lined up my Sharpie line here. I've got a fairly even amount. It's about 1/8 or maybe closer to 1/16 of an inch coming above that edge of the punch. And I'm going to go ahead and punch. And then you can see here, one thing I want you to note is we did cut off a little bit here. You can see I've got a notch where we cut off ever so slightly a bit of that edge from that circle. And that's okay, but you need to keep that in mind when you're making the next punch. I'm going to go ahead, line it up in here, center with where my Sharpie line is there. And then what I want you to see here, and I'm really hoping you can see it in the video, is you can see ever so slightly the edge, that little notch there that comes down to where my last punch is. That's okay if it's even right there with the top of my punch, but you can see my uncut section right here is still above the edge of the punch. So where I punched previously can line up nicely there, and then it's going to notch up ever so slightly to the that bit of uncut. And I'll go ahead and punch again. And I'm going to keep working my way around. I'm always going to keep track of where those notches are and I'm going to line up and keep punching. Now, with the green punch, we do have, it's going to be a pretty tight fit using that, the green blade. You can see I'm going to have little wedges here that are happening, and that's okay. I'll just trim those out later. So I'm just going to keep lining up with that Sharpie marker that I use on those 30-degree lines, and I just keep punching all the way around. Now I am ending up with ever so slightly little spots here that aren't a complete smooth circle, a smooth ring on the inside. I'm going to use a pair of scissors to clean those up. So I'm going to just keep working all the way around. And like I said, the green blade is a tight fit. So you're going to want to make sure when you make those 30-degree angles, those 30-degree marks, you're going to want to try to be as precise as possible so that you can make sure that you're able to line them up and just keep working around. You will want to practice on some extra cardstock. So use a spare piece. Don't use a color that you have, limited amounts of. Start with some white, maybe use one of the cover sheets from one of the paper packs. And you just keep working around. I have my final punch here. And I'm gonna go ahead, and you can see here now, this is what it's gonna look like. This is the front side. So I've got a pretty nice ring in here. I do have some little bits that I'm gonna clean up here, and I'm gonna have to clean up all these wedges. So I'm just gonna grab my scissors, and I'm gonna just do a quick snip all the way around to remove it from the outer piece of the cardstock. Just gives me a little bit easier to work with. And then I can just come in and do a basic, what I call just a scoop cut. Just scoop out each of those wedges. And I would work all the way around. So there's going to be roughly 12 of them, or maybe it's technically 13. I made 12 punches. So I think there might technically be, 12 of them. So we're going to finish scooping these all out. Sometimes they're super close and I can pull it out, pull out the wedge, but most of them are going to require a scoop cut. And here's the last one. So there you can see I've got my basic wedge or my basic ring already done, and I could come around in here and any little space that I can see that I need to clean up, I can just go ahead and make that. I had one punch that didn't punch super clean. I was a little too close to the edge. That is the one thing I've found with my particular punch. If I'm too close to that edge, if I don't give myself that solid, 1/16 of an inch above the top of the punch, I'm going to get a little bit of a rough edge. So here we go. You can see I've got the overall, the circle done. And I am going to show you just a real quick using the United We Stand papers. So I've got this fun stripe paper here. Thought that was really kind of a lot of fun. I have, this is a circle, cut with the inside track of the jumbo circle. It is cut with the red blade. So I should have a little bit of an overlap. It's not gonna be a whole lot of an overlap. But you can see it's ever so slightly. It's gonna fit in there nicely. So now we have this lovely ring effect. The banners are all on the outside edge. You can play around with whatever colors. The background, maybe you're gonna use a different background that's going to be a little bit more tonal. It would allow some of these details of the banner to stand out a little bit more. But you can see there, it's a fun technique to do. This is the flag banner punch from Creative Memories. Hope you have a chance to give it a try, and thanks for watching.